Hey, Laura J. Taking my braid out. It's not my braid at all. I didn't want to say taking my hair out because I quite like my hair. Thank you very much. Do you like yours? I've never been the one that wanted straight hair when I had this hair and this little brooch of Paula Lishman's for her furs that I am gaining such a new found appreciation for all that she brought before. And healing the somatic body through somatic yoga is absolutely part of how we can stay here longer if we just move it to feel it to heal it. And that's really what the special act practice is designed to help you with. The special act practice is designed for you to be part of a guild of creatives who are coming together to consciously support our own transformation while being connected to others who are also going through the destabilization process that naturally results from completely up-leveling and upending everything that you thought was true before you found that actually it wasn't. So, having compassion and sympathy for those going through that process and the disheartening experience it is to wake up to all of the corruption and the lies, we have to be gentle with all of us, which goes back to somatic yoga. And in here, it actually talks about the rest framework and the fact that the rest framework helps us focus on emote and the four responses that involve moving stuck energy that needs to discharge. So basically, we store trauma in the body if we don't get rid of it through moving or shaking or somehow letting it go and telling our nervous system it is safe to rest. Rock, emote, spiral, and touch. Rocking is about soothing your nervous system. Emoting is about letting feelings flow. Spirals are about moving like nature. For like Bill Lishman says on a billboard that has a picture on the mantelpiece, there are no straight lines in nature. So why do we try to make straight lines with things and judge ourselves for not being able to? Just rest, touch. Awaken to the sensation of self-touch being safe, the touch of others also being safe, if we are willing to trust ourselves, because self-trust goes a long way. And what I know for sure is that on day 45 out of the 66 days, sober somatic self-care practice, I gave up. I decided that I wanted to smoke weed more than I did complete that process, and so I smoked. And I have continued to, and I have enjoyed it. And I also need to recommit to a sober somatic self-care practice. And so what I am doing is finishing my book, my second book, The Real Story of Rome, as the reality of my existence when I stay as the first person in my own life, and create a special act practice that will make sure that I act in my best interest instead of get cast to act in someone else's production. I would also like to say that I am producing a documentary about how we did the seemingly impossible, harmonizing us. We did it with album 22 back in 2020 and 2021 when we did the first two albums, gathering 22 songs on each of them by artists from around the globe with varying levels of notoriety or success. And we came together at a time where artists needed it. And someone reached out to me and asked if I'd be willing to speak to artists and share the sacred sojourn of the soul. And I said, absolutely. And then we met and they wanted more. So I said, okay, well, how easy would it be to create a reward for them to continue coming, which turned out to be A22. Album 22 was the conscious compilation album that met twice a month in order to get these songs together and the artists who made them and get to know one another while we worked on a common cause or project. So I am really excited to see how we can kind of bring it all together and say that it is artists who will create our way out of a crisis. Neil Strauss and Howard someone wrote The Fourth Turning. And it's bothering me, I can't remember the names of the artists or authors, but I can't. So I'm just going to bypass that fact and simply say they talk about the sequiums. Sequiums being the 20-year blocks of groups. And the fact that artists are born during times of crisis, such as what we are in right now. Because artists can create by thinking in ways that haven't been thought of before, in order to create results that haven't been got before neither. So we've got to really learn to trust ourselves and others enough to dare to go for it, which is precisely what we're going to do with the special act practice throughout the summer, and with the live opportunities that people will have to go through it with me. I'm going to be trialing out the special act practice manual, and I would love to use it as your personal coaching curriculum. For your own life, you get to come out to Purple Hill and experience a special act practice you create. I can help you. We will sit together for an afternoon and go over it and talk about what you've got going on and how you can make things more manageable in your life. Prioritize, get clarity, separation from life as it normally is in a beautiful space where we're going to be working together, and then you're going to have integration time on your own. You'll have an opportunity to actually move with somatic practices that I will offer you from this book, which Brett Larkin created and I bought and now am wanting to modify in order to create my own routine. Despite having went through those first 66 days not having actually completed reading this, because I ended up not taking anyone along the journey with me, so I didn't do it as fully committed as I would have if I was leading others directly. Instead, I was just surviving myself and life as it was, and I was just simply content to be getting through it. So I handled it differently, as we always do, based on our capacity. And our capacity is oftentimes connected to what is happening in our environment. So I look forward to having you in our environment where you can see a different way of being. If you want to come out to the garden with me and hoe some weeds or talk while I do it, that's a possibility. This is all part of your rehabilitation as you walk these lands and really decide who commands the hand of your pen. That is when you really have an opportunity to get back in the now, which is where all your power to create exists. So somatics is actually part of the special act practice, and it is now subbing in with the S that used to stand for sacred sojourn of the soul. And then I brought in the somatics piece because it's so fundamental. If we have it stuck in our body, then we can't move it. So then how can we heal it if we can't feel it? So it's just the compounding. I hope this message was useful and insightful to you. I hope that it excited you about the possibility of coming to Purple Hill, working with me for a multi-night stay and experience with a special act practice manual as the guide that you will be able to review while you stay on these sacred lands. It's before my second book is ready, but the material will be made available to those who invest in themselves and me to come here. So you're going to have an opportunity to see the manuscript before it's actually made public. How does that feel? Exclusive privilege, access, exclusive access. It's pretty exciting. And it's such a beautiful place. The birds will sing. It's really stunning here. You want to be here? You can be.